upon a time, in a small village named Oba, there was a man called Okonkwo who was married to Adako. They had no child. Okonkwo had a brother who was late but has a wife named Obiageli and 4 beautiful girls named Adama, Ngozi, Uju, and Ako. Okonkwo was well known in the community as an evil man. You dare not have an altercation with him. If not, you are in trouble. Everyone in the village was scared of him and wouldn't want to associate with him. After the death of Okonkwo's brother, he collected all his brother's land from his wife Obiageli, saying she only has female children. Whereas Okonkwo had none. He neither has a girl nor a boy. Obiageli, the wife of his late brother, who was a poor widow, reported the matter to the king and his kinsmen. But they were so scared to summon Okonkwo to tell him to return his brother's properties to his wife. Obiageli and her beautiful daughters were so hardworking, despite Okonkwo collecting their father's property and land from them. They would go for farming jobs as laborers in people's farm. They even sell firewood at the market and helped their mother in her business. Okonkwo, saying that his brother's children are very hardworking, became jealous. He started plotting evil against them. He went to a witch doctor to collect charms in order to make his brother's children not to get married when they reach the age of marriage. The witch doctor gave him a charm which he buried behind the house of his late brother. The witch doctor also told him not to let anyone see the charm. If not, he will run mad. Okonkwo collected the charm, went and buried it there, behind his brother's house. After some years, Adama, Ngozi, Uju, and Ako grew up into beautiful young maidens. They were admired by the young men of the village because of their beauty. One day, Adama, the first daughter of Obiageli, on her way to the stream, met a young man who asked her of her father's name and told her his intentions of getting married to her. Adama told him to come and see her mother. The next day, the man came to see Adama's mother to tell her of his intentions of getting married to her daughter Adama. While this was going on, Okonkwo was peeping from his compound to see what was going on. He smiled to himself and said, "Nobody is getting married there because he knows what he has done." Obiageli and her daughter Soto set a date for their return to plan the traditional marriage, but they never returned. This continued with other of her children. Men will come to ask for their hand in marriage, but will never return. This bothered Obiageli, their mother, so much. She would cry and pray to God. This continued for a long time, until one fateful night, there was a heavy rain. It rained so much that people were scared their roofs might pull off. The next morning, the last daughter of Obiageli, named Ako, went to the backyard to ease herself and saw the charm Okonkwo buried there on the floor, which the rain from last night washed out. She called her mother and sisters to see the charm. While this was going on, Okonkwo in his compound was screaming and shouting. People began to gather. Obiageli and her daughters, hearing the scream, went to check what was going on. They saw Okonkwo on the floor, screaming on top of his voice. When he saw them, he began to confess that he was the one that buried the charm behind their house, that he was jealous of his brother's hard-working children and decided to make them not get married. The villagers, Obiageli and her children, were so surprised. Even the wife of Okonkwo, Adako, was in shock. After Okonkwo finished confessing, he ran mad and left the village. Adako, Okonkwo's wife, seeing the shame her husband brought upon her, decided to also leave the village. Not long after the charm was discovered, Obiageli's daughters began to get married, one after the other. They lived happily with their husband and bore children. The lesson of this story is never to be wicked to anyone. Thanks for watching and please subscribe.